Hello, and welcome to WVU Extension today. I'm your host, Zach Harold. This is embarrassing. Hold on one second. Hello? Just wanted to extend my car's warranty. I'm sure you probably get a lot of calls like that too. Well, that's why we have Jennifer Friend here today. She's going to teach us how to identify scammers that reach us through spam calls, fraudulent emails, shady social media posts. She's going to teach us how to identify these jokers and avoid being tricked by their scams.
Hello? No, I don't intend on extending my car's warranty. Bye. Oh, hi. I'm Jennifer Friend, and I'm a WVU Extension agent in Harrison County. Today, I want to talk with you just a little bit about ways that you can keep your money safe and avoid fraud and scams. There's several different types of scams out there, such as debt, investment, phone, social media. The list just kind of grows on and on. But there's one thing in common with all of these. They try to steal your hard-earned money or possibly your data and important private information. A lot of these will use scare tactics, such as short timelines that you must act immediately while you're on the phone with them or over email, or you have a certain timeline that you must follow. Some say that you might be in trouble, such as being sued, arrested, or if something has expired, like your car's extended warranty. One way that you can avoid this type of fraud is, although tension might be high, you can talk things over with somebody who wasn't on the phone or didn't see it in that heat of the moment contact. They might be able to help you decide if it's a scam or if you should investigate more. Another type of fraud are phone scams, like the one you just saw. So you've likely been contacted about your car's extended warranty, but apparently they might be working because Americans lost $29.8 billion just in phone scams last year. That's a lot of money. Avoid unknown callers or numbers that you don't recognize. Consider, why are they calling me? Or think if it's somebody that needs you, they'll call you back, even if it's from a number you don't know. If you see it again, you might consider answering it. Another type of scam is through online shopping, and this can be especially hard in the holiday season. One way that you can avoid this is to check product reviews and consider the source of that product. Links that look fake, they probably are, and you can consider the spelling and the product description, as well as even the photos that they provide. Once again, it's important to do your research and check those product reviews. Read those ones that are really high and then compare them to the products that have single stars. And that might help you decide, do I really need this? Or should I just hold off and try to find something similar? Another type of fraud can be through social media, and this would be considered information fraud. So it's really important that you modify your privacy settings when you're setting up your account, or that you go back and check on them regularly. So when you set up an account, those privacy settings are going to be pretty broad. They might be more open to the public than you realize. So it's important that you limit the information that you allow others to have access to, such as your year of birth, your address, and your location. Consider who's going to be able to see your posts and messages. You might want to set those to friends only, or have your account set to privacy mode where you have to approve your followers. Another way that you can be safe online is to use strong passwords and change them relatively frequently. I will be the first to admit that it is a pain to change my password and then have to remember that password, but it's worth it when it means that I'm keeping my account safe. So it's important also that you be careful before clicking on links. If they look fake and have a lot of misspellings, they probably are. And the same goes for your emails. If you didn't request the information, it's likely fake. So even though it might seem like a good offer at the time or something you need to look into, do some research and see if it's real, and also consider the subject line as well. If it seems too good to be true, it most likely is. Finally, let's talk a little bit about investment fraud. One of the ways that you can avoid investment fraud and pretty much any other scam is if it's unsolicited, it could be a scam. And don't give out your private information for requests that you didn't submit. and only invest in a company if it's legitimate. So you're going to have to do some homework. And once again, if it seems too good to be true, it most likely is. So let's just talk a little bit about some ways to avoid fraud. Like I've been saying, if it's too good to be true, it most likely is. And once again, do not give out your personal information like your social security number over phone call, text, or email, especially if it's not with a legitimate operation. You can also talk things over with a friend or a family member so that they can help you determine if the request is real or legitimate. And specific to online scams, consider, does it seem real? Were there typos, a lot of grammatical errors? One thing I like to consider is, why am I receiving this information? And once again, do your research. Now, if you've been scammed, one of the most important things that you can do is report that you have been scammed and what the scam was. You can do this by calling your local police department for help, or you can file a fraud report with the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission. And you can do this online at reportfraud.ftc.gov. There's no doubt that there's fraud out there, but by remaining skeptical, you can avoid having your hard-earned money or information stolen.
Oh, the weather outside is increasingly frightful. But I once heard somebody say there's no such thing as bad weather, just inadequate clothing. Larel Teter is here with some tips on how to dress warm this winter while still enjoying your favorite outdoor activities.
Hi everybody, my name is Larel Teter. I'm the Program Coordinator for Outdoor Ed and Recreation here at WVU Jackson's Mill. Today, we're going to talk about how we want to dress when we go outside to play in the winter. If it's snowy, maybe it's cold and maybe a little bit wet, we're always going to be able to go outside as long as we dress the right way. Number one most important thing is going to be wearing layers. You want more than one layer. You want to have a base layer, something that's going to be really tight, that's going to be on the bottom, and then you want a baggier layer, maybe a pair of sweatpants or a hoodie, or maybe a baggier long sleeve t-shirt or sweatshirt. And then your outer layer is going to be what's going to keep you dry. It's going to be a little bit less about keeping warm and mostly about keeping dry. The outer layer is going to be something like a waterproof pair of snow pants and snow jacket. Those are going to keep you on the outside. Maybe you're falling in the snow, maybe you're rolling in the snow, sled riding, whatever it may be. That's going to make sure that you can have all of the fun of getting in the snow, but none of the upset of getting a little bit cold and wet. So you want something like, even if it's a little bit warmer, you're going to have something like a rain jacket or a windbreaker that's going to keep that layer from getting wet. Now, your outer layer is going to be a little bit bigger, so you want to make sure that there's plenty of space in those clothes that you can wear all the layers that you need to underneath, and they're still going to fit and you're still going to have room to move around. Even if it's a little bit warmer outside and you don't think you need all those layers, you don't think you need that heavy winter coat, you still want to wear something like maybe a rain jacket over top of your long sleeve t-shirt or whatever it may be. That way that you can keep dry. Even if it's not that cold outside, if you get wet, you're going to get cold eventually. And if it is warmer, you're going to want to start taking off maybe your middle layers. You're not going to want to take off your outside layer or your base layer because those are the most important things. Even if it's warm, it can still be kind of wet, and you're not going to want to wear something like a hoodie that's going to get wet and then stay wet and make you cold. Now, once we've got all of our layers on, you want to move on to keeping your hands, your feet, and your head warm. To keep our hands warm, we're going to start with a base layer glove. These gloves are going to be a little bit thinner, but they're going to be super warm. So you want to have those on first, and then you want to have a waterproof pair of gloves that you can put over top of those base gloves. If you have a waterproof pair of gloves and you're keeping your hands dry, it's going to be just like the rest of you. Your hands are going to stay warm a lot longer. Now, the first thing that's going to start getting cold while you're out is probably going to be your ears. So it's super important to wear something like a hat or maybe a headband that can go over your ears and keep those warm, because once your ears start getting cold, once your head starts getting cold, the rest of you is going to follow pretty quick. On how cold it is, and especially if it's windy, you're going to want to wear a scarf. You can wrap that scarf around as many times as you need to, make it a little bit thicker, tuck your nose in so in case it starts to get a little bit windy, you have somewhere to stick your face and keep that out of the wind. Now for our feet, we're probably gonna also wear 2 pairs of socks. You want a regular pair of socks, maybe something that you would wear with your tennis shoes or something that you would just wear on a regular day. And then you want an outer pair of socks that are nice and thick. These are a thick pair of wool socks. They're probably about 5 or 6 times than my regular socks. I'm gonna wear my regular socks and then my thick socks over top of that. And then my shoes are gonna be a pair of waterproof boots. If you can get waterproof shoes and you can keep your feet dry, your feet are much more likely to stay warm. If your feet get wet, you're gonna wanna change your socks as soon as possible. Dry socks are gonna be the key to keeping your feet nice and warm. Nobody likes cold feet. So if we keep all of these things in mind when we're getting dressed to go out for a day of winter fun and hang out and play in the snow, whether we're skiing or snowboarding or sled riding, we can keep all of these things in mind and we make sure that we're wearing the right clothes. We can stay outside longer and we can have a whole lot more fun. Now that you're all dressed up and ready to go outside, there is no shortage of things that you can do here in West Virginia to enjoy your winter. Even if you just want to hang around your house, you can always build snowmen in your yard or hang out and have a snowball fight or just play in the snow with all of your neighbors and friends. Best things about being in West Virginia in the wintertime is all the amazing outdoor activities that we have access to here. You can go out and you can go snowshoeing, or you can go hiking in the wintertime with those waterproof boots that you put on. Maybe downhill skiing or snowshoeing isn't for you, so you can do a mix of both, and you can head over to White Grass Ski Resort and you can go cross-country skiing right outside of Blackwater Falls State Park and Canaan Valley Resort State Park. Really unique and awesome thing that we have here in West Virginia is West Virginia Ski Free Day at Snowshoe Mountain, March 27th, 2022. If you take a state ID to Snowshoe Resort, you get a free lift ticket. And if you're lucky enough to be a 4th or 5th grader in West Virginia, you can sign up for the West Virginia Skiing Passport Program. You sign up for this program, you can get up to 3 free lift tickets to use at Winter Place, Ogilvy, Canaan Valley, Snowshoe, or Timberline, and you'll also get 1 free rental coupon to use. There is no shortage of things that you can do here in West Virginia in the wintertime, and we are so lucky to have our beautiful state parks. I hope that you will gear up in all your warm layers and enjoy your West Virginia winter.
There are few things more exciting than a nice heavy snowfall, but that white stuff can also prove to be a hazard on your driveways and sidewalks. Amanda Mason's going to tell us how to maintain a safe and snow-free driveway.
Hi, my name is Amanda Mason and I work as an assistant professor at West Virginia University Safety and Health Extension, and today I would like to talk to you about safe snow removal. It's that time of year again where the days are getting colder and the snow is beginning to fall. And with that in mind, many individuals are beginning to wake up earlier to shovel their driveways before their commute to work. And this can be no small feat. In some areas of West Virginia, like Snowshoe, they've been known to get around 159 inches of snowfall each year. So today, I would like to share with you some tips and some tricks to help you safely prepare your driveway for the winter season. The first step to maintaining a safe driveway is to pre-treat with salt. By applying a thin layer of ice melt before a snowstorm, you can reduce the slippery conditions the next morning. When applying salt, start by choosing an option that is pet-friendly and safe for pets to ingest. Not only your pets, but pets that could be walking past your driveway. Then apply an even layer over all walking surfaces. For larger areas, you can use something like a lawn fertilizer spreader, and for small areas, you can use something like a cup. Now, when you do this job, you should be sure to wear gloves to protect your hands in the process. Also, make sure to pay particular attention to areas that will be in the sun in the early day and in shadow later in the afternoon. What is a puddle in the morning sunlight will become ice later when it's cold. In addition, after you're done, place a container of ice and melt by your front door and use it to spot treat later if it gets icy again. You've salted your driveway and it's the next day after a big snowstorm. You have 2 options. You can opt to shovel your driveway manually, or you can use a snowblower. If you don't have a particularly large driveway, you're most likely going to opt to use the old-fashioned way and just shovel it. There's nothing wrong with this option, but there are a few things that you should keep in mind before you start. While shoveling is normally safe, many individuals each year suffer from a heart attack because of snow shoveling. This is because your arteries constrict from the cold weather, and also you're using more oxygen when you exert yourself. So with that in mind, let's talk about how to safely shovel your driveway. The first thing you want to do is pick the correct shovel for the job. What you are looking for is you want to make sure to start that your shovel is lightweight and not too heavy. In addition, you want to make sure that the handle is easy to grip and that when you place the shovel up next to yourself, it comes to about your chest level. There are some options that are better and known as ergonomically safe shovels. These shovels have a bent shaft, and they're known to reduce the strain on your lower back. And they'll also reduce the amount of times that you lean forward. So finally, remember the common phrase, lift with your legs, not your back. If you have a longer drive, or you just like the convenience of a snowblower, I have some tips for you too. First, always be sure to add fuel outdoors. You do not want to spill that in your garage, and you don't want to expose yourself to fumes either. When you're planning the job, think about where the snow is blowing and make sure to avoid discharge towards people, traffic, or other areas where danger may occur. Also, if your snowblower becomes jammed, make sure you turn it off. Turn it off, guys. Do not put your hands inside of a snowblower. If it's jammed, be sure to use a stick or another item like a tool to unclog the jam, and wait for the blade to stop moving before trying to clear the clog. Finally, as with any activity done outside during the winter, be sure to wear proper clothing to protect yourself from the elements. This includes a nice warm coat, a hat, gloves, and sturdy shoes like boots that'll prevent you from slipping and sliding on the ice. Thanks for your time today. My name is Amanda Mason, and I wish you a very safe winter season. And I hope you get outside to enjoy the wonderful scenery West Virginia has to offer. Have a great day.
Let's end today's show with something that'll give you the warm and fuzzies. Terrill, Peck, and her granddaughter Mila are going to show us how to make homemade hot chocolate and hot apple cider. That's sure to warm you up after a long day on the sled run or a morning shoveling your driveway.
Hi, I'm Terrill Peck. I work for WVU Extension Service. I'm an agent in Raleigh County, and I'm here today with my granddaughter, Mila. Say hi, Mila.
Hi.
And we're gonna make some healthy drinks for the holidays. So we have two drinks that we're gonna make here today. We're gonna make a healthy hot chocolate, and then we're gonna make a quick apple cider. So the first thing we're gonna do with our hot chocolate is I'm gonna have Mila pour some skim milk. I have about a cup of skim milk, and I'm gonna help her pour this in our pot. So if you can use skim milk, you can use almond milk, you can use coconut milk. If you have dairy allergies, you can use anything like that, and they have healthier options. When you're looking at almond milk and coconut milk, you wanna make sure that you get milk that's unsweetened. If you get sweetened milk, it's going to add extra calories to your beverage that you might not want. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some cocoa powder. So I have some unsweetened cocoa powder here, and I'm going to scoop it up, and then I'm going to let Mila drop it in, and then we're going to start heating up our milk. So I need 2.5 teaspoons of unsweetened cocoa powder. Okay. And anytime you can get your children or your grandchildren to help you in the kitchen, that is a wonderful thing, because it gives them a love of cooking. There's a 1/2 teaspoon. Gives them a love for cooking, and even the pickiest eaters are more apt to try something different if they can participate in the cooking. So I've had Mila help me to put some milk and some cocoa powder in a pot. And I'm just gonna whisk it up a little bit. I'm gonna let her just stand beside me because we don't want her to deal with the fire. Mila's 4 years old, and she loves to cook. She She doesn't always like to eat the things because she's 4, but she loves to cook things. So we try to encourage her to cook all kinds of things. So as I'm heating this milk up, we're gonna keep stirring it as we go along. We're gonna add some vanilla, and you wanna use pure vanilla extract. That's always the best option. I also have some cinnamon. You can add nutmeg. You can add maple syrup as your sweetener. For this hot chocolate, I'm just gonna put some Splenda in it. And I also have some marshmallows. And you have to be really careful with the marshmallows, because if you go overboard with tons of marshmallows, which is how I like it, it ceases to be a healthy option. So you just want to, just a couple, just can give you the flavor of the hot chocolate. Milk is starting to heat up a little bit. Once it's all,
it's chocolate.
And it's chocolate. Once it heats up, then we'll add our vanilla, and we'll add our little bit of Splenda, and we'll add our cinnamon. Again, you can use all types of milk for this. It's whatever you choose, and be creative. You know, as we go into the holidays, it's important that we embrace the holiday season. And part of that is family and friends and cooking together as a family. So I'm gonna let Mila stir just a little bit, but I'm watching real close. Turn it down just a little bit.
Okay.
Very good. So we have our cup here. You want to open up this Splenda and put it in the cup. We'll get a spoon here. Can you open it? That'll give our hot chocolate a little bit of sweetness without adding sugar to it. So you can add Splenda if you like stevia, if you like sweet and low, whatever your sweetener is of choice. Because we want to make this as healthy as we can. And who says that you can't have chocolate and it be healthy? So it's nice and warm. So we're going to pour our milk into our cup. Hold the cup still. Pour our milk in it. I wish we had smell-o-vision because this smells great. So we're going to pour our milk in. We're going to add a little splash of vanilla, just a splash. We're going to have Mila stir it up a little bit. And maybe we'll add just a splash of cinnamon. All right. You want to add a couple marshmallows?
Sure. Yes.
All right. So we'll get the marshmallows. We got these little mini marshmallows, the little bitty ones. And you can have, we're going to add like 2 or 3 just to give us the flavor of the marshmallow, but not to add a ton of extra calories to our hot chocolate. So I'm going to give the marshmallows to Mila. Oops, we dropped one. So we're going to add those to the hot chocolate.
Wait, do I have to put this in the trash?
You have to put that in the trash. So anytime we drop something on the floor, we're going to put it in the trash. So here's our hot chocolate. Now we have already stirred it. So let's go over here and let's look at our hot chocolate.
We got
a big cup and a smaller thing of hot chocolate. But that's our hot chocolate. We got 4 marshmallows in it. Let's give it a try. Do you want to taste it?
No.
Huh?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Let's give it a little taste. Oh, that is delicious. It's delicious.
That's because we put sugar in it.
That's because we put sugar in it and we made hot chocolate. So there's your healthy hot chocolate. So the next thing we're going to do is just make a quick apple cider. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use apple juice.
Yes.
And we want to use 100% apple juice. You want juice that doesn't have a lot of artificial sugars in it, or added sugars, and that's 100% juice. So we're just gonna add some 100% juice. We don't have to measure it. We can just pour however much we want to drink. So we have another pot.
Yep.
And we're gonna pour some apple juice in here.
Let me hold it.
If you wanted to make this for your family, you could add some orange peel to it. That would give it some flavor. You could add some apple peel. You could add some lemon zest. You could add an orange that's studded with cloves. Would be really good, and have this simmering on the stove. So we're just gonna heat up this apple juice, 100% apple juice, and we're gonna add a cinnamon stick. And you can buy these at the grocery store in your spice section. But we're gonna add that to our apple cider afterwards, and we're gonna drink that with our cider. And it's gonna give you the taste of cinnamon and just give you that holiday feel. So we're gonna heat this up a little bit. It'll only take a few minutes. You wanna go ahead and put our cinnamon stick in our cup? So we can put one cinnamon stick in. We can add a couple cinnamon sticks. Cinnamon is one of those things that is not gonna add any extra calories to your beverage. It's just gonna add flavor. You know, that's the best thing about spices. They don't add calories, they just add flavor. So we're gonna heat up our apple cider.
I have to go potty for a sec.
Live cameras, what do you do? She has to go potty, so. We will finish our apple cider, and as it heats up, so we'll heat that up a little bit, and we will pour it into our cup. You can see the steam coming. We probably could have heated that a little bit longer, but it's okay. Now we have our apple cider. We can see our cinnamon stick down in the apple cider. We can get a spoon and stir it up. Sit by the fire for a cozy, cozy drink. So here are 2 healthy recipes that you can use for the holidays. And Mila and I say, happy holidays. Thank you.
Once again, thank you for joining us for WVU Extension today. We hope you and yours had a very happy holidays, and we'll see you in January. Until next time.